We are delighted that you are here today, and I'm Stanley Roberts, for those who have not met before. I am the Associate Dean in the School of Music, but that's my part-time job. My main job is I'm Director of Choral Studies. I conduct choirs here and teach basic and advanced conducting as well as graduate conducting also. I'm kind of a unique story. I am a Mercer graduate. I graduated from Mercer in 1984. I with a BA in music and in religion. And really my path was one that I went on and have done a good bit of work and did my master's in church music and did my doctorate in conducting. So I've kind of been in that world, both sides, since I graduated from here over the years. So the main thing for us today is you're here to kind of get your final questions answered, whatever those questions may be, and you may get home there's some more, and as you know, you're free to give us a call and we'll have a conversation. So one of the things that we'll be doing when we have our advising time a little bit later is that we will go through schedule and kind of talk through what's happening there. The truth is that for most music majors in the first year, we're all in pretty much the same boat as far as the classes we're taking, okay? We will all be taking a theory type of course. We will all be taking musicianship skills, which builds our sight singing and our ear training skills. We will also have our applied lessons in flute, right flute, and piano. You will also be a part of one or two ensembles, depending upon your area of study, what that may be. Also in the realm of classes that you will take, our students take an INT course, which is a writing class, and we often cluster our music students together. We feel it's very important to begin to build those skills from the beginning. And then you will obviously have your, as I said, your private lessons will be a part of that, and then that leaves room basically for you to do another academic type course. So if you're interested in, let's say math, you want to maybe double major in math or do a minor in math, we'll probably start you on that path pretty soon. But also that other class is usually a general ed type course. So it could be a psychology or sociology. It could be a class in the area of history, somewhat depending upon the profile that you send in, see what you want to do. And we do our best. We got together about a month ago now and try to work out those schedules somewhat. But today we can tweak that as we go forward. Okay. So you get your schedule today, and I say this to the students, but also the parents. Most of these other students around here, they will get their schedule today and they'll have 4 things on that schedule. 4 classes, maybe 5. Music's going to be totally different because you're going to have all these 1-hour and 2-hour classes. And so most music students are going to end up having somewhere in the realm of 8 courses. So it looks very overwhelming, but it's not so overwhelming. So you'll be able to work through that whole process, and we'll talk through that today. The truth is, with music majors, we are very busy. You know, our course of study is very different than many students who come in. I say compared to a student in the College of Liberal Arts, where they may take a course in their area of interest, or they may have none at all that first semester. They begin to do a lot of their general ed type classes or common core type classes that they will do, and then as they go forward, they will add more and more in their particular major. Music, we're kind of the exact opposite of that. Because of the nature of what we have to do, our first year base is heavy music. Second year base is pretty much the same type of course as well. You're taking the same types of classes in your second year. So you'll be doing the theory, do the musicianship skills, you'll be doing the keyboard class, you'll be doing private lessons. All those will be very similar. The only thing that's going to change will be somewhat of the elective courses you choose to take that will be a part of your common core. And so I tell students and parents that you get that sheet today and it looks very overwhelming. And it looks overwhelming, but it's doable. This young man right back here has gone through that same process, and he's turned out okay. He's doing fine so far. And so...
She has too.
Yes, yes. So, hello, Miss Victoria. Good to see you. So that's the main thing, is not to be overwhelmed by that. But I tell you up front, so that when you first see that and you compare it to somebody else, one of your friends from high school over the cafeteria later today, you're going, something's really wrong. And it's not quite that way. True?
True.
See, he's my amen corner today. Okay. All right. One of the things I like to talk to students about and parents about is kind of the first year for the music major. We are a group of individuals that have made a choice toward a career path pretty early. Okay? There are many students who come into the university undecided, which is fine. That's a part of the situation. My son has just finished his sophomore year here, and really in the last semester he's really kind of beginning to gain focus. He's taking classes that has kind of helped him. He kind of knew his path, but not exactly. In music, we're a bit different than we're saying, okay, this is what I'm looking to do for a career path as a way to make a living through life, okay? And whether that living is being a performer, goals of playing in an orchestra, whether that goal is to go on and do additional studies and open up your own piano studio or teach on the collegiate level, or whether that goal is to teach middle school or elementary school or high school, whatever the case may be, we kind of begin to make that decision early on. And we made that decision, fairly early, but even within that, we will find that students will continue to kind of tweak what their ultimate outcome is, okay? So, in saying that, I've had students who come in and say, gosh, I love music, and I'm going to do this music as a major, but I'm going to go to law school, which is like a shocker to some people. But the truth is, they realize that I want to develop my talent to the very highest that I can do at this point in my life and in my career. And it may not be my vocation, but it may be my avocation, okay? And then the converse is true. I have students who come in who say, I know I want to be a high school choral director. And then as they go through the process and they begin to work and they find, you know what, I really like working with middle schoolers, which I can understand why anybody wants to do that. But anyway, because my response to that is always, are you sure? Yeah. And so even within the area of music, as we come in, we begin to kind of tweak our focus of what really we feel that is kind of the direction that we're going into. And that's a process. It's a process of discovering ourselves. It's also a process of discovering your talents and your gifts and where they are really best, where they will manifest themselves the best. In music, you will have an advisor from day one. Okay, so I may or may not be your advisor going forward, but we have a pretty good map of what you need to do each semester, and we do a pretty good job, I think, of helping students do that. As students begin to maybe look at different paths in music, we can help prepare you toward those kind of steps as we can too. Mercer has a good program advising, but I think in music we're just able to be on top of it a little bit more. And the truth is, in the School of Music, I see Zach every day. He's a piano major, okay? But I see him constantly. And so there's a lot of advising that even goes on sometimes when somebody's drinking a Coke and having a pack of crackers. That type of process is ongoing. So it's not just like a day out of the semester that we try to focus toward that. In the curriculum, there is flexibility depending upon the student's interest. So I go back to the music student who has an interest in really delving more time into the languages. They have that opportunity to do that and still not go over their 120 hours or be pretty much within that. The music majors are required to be in ensembles, obviously, and so sometimes, especially in some of the instrumental areas, they may have to be in 2 ensembles, okay? So that student's probably going to end up with 128 hours of credits as opposed to 120 hours just because they're doing double ensembles while they're going through school time.
Did they count marching?
Good afternoon, everyone. We hope you enjoyed your orientation day. In the next couple of weeks, there's a couple of final steps through your admission process that we want to encourage you to take. First, if you haven't yet requested your final transcripts from both your high school as well as any dual enrollment from the college, please make sure that you do that in the coming weeks. Also, you want to submit your immunization form as well to Student Health, or you can submit that to admissions and we'll get it to them. Lastly, if you haven't yet had a chance to connect with your admissions counselor to review your financial aid, this afternoon's a really good time to do that, or in the coming weeks. We want to make sure that you're well prepared for the fall. We can't wait to see you on campus, and go Bears!
Thank you so much, Dr. Holloway. We really do hope you enjoyed our presentation this morning. I hope that hearing from our students, our faculty, our staff really provided a lot of answers for you for the questions that you may have. But I also realize that you probably have more questions, and that's absolutely fine. Myself, my staff, we're excited to answer those questions for you. We want you to email us at orientation@mercer.edu, and we'll be reaching out and getting responses to any questions that may still be on your mind. Now don't worry, we've got a lot more excitement for you this afternoon. We've got a great presentation by Auxiliary Services about bear cards, dining services, the bookstore, and so much more. We've got the Academic Resource Center quite literally talking about academic resources and how they're going to help you succeed in the fall. We've got our pre-health tracks presentation by Dr. Carol Bokros if you're interested in any of our lovely offerings. And finally, we've got an orientation resource fair presentation where a lot of our departments and staffs have come together to tell you about what they're going to be offering as you arrive and throughout your journey at Mercer University. Finally, you've got an advising appointment this afternoon. You would have received an email from me with details about that this morning, but if you're still unsure about how to access it, and maybe the email hasn't provided you enough context, we've got a subpage on our orientation platform. In that subpage, you're going to find plenty of information. Make sure you arrive a little early to the Zoom room for your advising appointment. Make sure that you've thought through any of the questions you may have, whether it's about your college or school, or maybe specifics on your schedule. And if you have any questions after that advising appointment, like I said, I'm here for you. My team's here for you. We're all at Mercer University ready and excited for your arrival. Thank you so much for joining us, and go Bears.